Welcome to day 2 of the IETA conference, and today we are in our second day of esports competition between local area high schools. This day we feature an Overwatch tournament. We're going to have 3 rounds of Overwatch action for you, 4 schools teams ready to compete, and we'll crown a winner by the end of the day. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer, and we're getting ready to head into our first match, which is going to be Bishop Kelly versus Napa School District All-Stars. It's a best of 3 Overwatch match, so these first few matches are going to go by pretty quickly, but then the grand finals, we will afford them a full best of 5 rounds. The 3 rounds that will be in the best of 3 will be starting out with Control, then moving on to Hybrid, and finally Flashpoint. Now, in case you don't know what that means, that is referring to the mode of game that each of the teams are going to be playing on. Control is going to be all focused around getting toward a central control point in the beginning and middle of the map and standing on it, because as long as your team stands on it, you build up points, and once you get to 100%, your team wins that match. Win 2 out of 3 control point matches, and you will get the round as a whole. All right. Now, as you can no doubt hear, some of the students are more than eager to start, so we're not going to deny them anymore as we get on down to the action. Yes, the passion is hot, but the stage is cool as we head on over to Antarctica. 3 possible variations of control stage for this first round. They could be either going to Icebreaker, Labs, or Sub-Level, which you're looking at right now. Sub-Level is personally my favorite because it has these 2 areas that you can fight on the points. A lot of verticality to this stage, which can make for some interesting choices in terms of team compositions, especially if any sort of mobile heroes are chosen, especially in the tank category. Could allow for some dive shenanigans. Of course, the choke points are also very narrow to push through, so you might also just go for a more brawly composition, something that could wall them off. I've been seeing Hazard be a tank that a lot of teams have been choosing lately. Don't know if we're going to see him as the newest hero in Overwatch, but we will have all our questions answered. Moving on over to Icebreaker, let's get down to the action as we start out this match. We're going to see Napa School District in blue, Bishop Kelly in the red. Both these teams going for a much more brawly composition with their 2 tanks, the Ramatra and the Reinhardt. From long range already, Bob is getting peppered with damage. Bishop Kelly already making their way toward the point. Elk and Tumbleweed are taking a lot of damage, as well as Bob. Should Napa School District lose their tank, which they just do, it's going to be really hard for them to win this fight. So Bishop Kelly now up to making their way onto the control point, which is now unlocked. First team fight looks to be a win for the Bishop Kelly Knights, and they will claim it. Started moving up to 100% for them. Napa School District now looking for a bit of a soft reset, it seems, just trying to pepper them with damage from afar. Going to wait for the team to group back up so they can push forward as a cohesive unit. We're looking at the ultimate counts here. Nampa School District a bit behind Bishop Kelly, with the one exception being their Mercy, getting close to that Valkyrie. Bishop Kelly already a quarter of the way there as the next team fight unfolds. Bob's decided to contest the lower level of the play field, and the Ramatra Flare is going to jump down to meet him. Pie Guy taking a whole lot of damage, very low health. Gets bailed out by his supports. Co-op now down to about half health. Will get on out of there. Bob is being centered from all angles, and his shield cannot block all the damage the Knights are pushing onto him. Flair will get the final hit on him with the pummel, and that's going to be another team fight, one for Bishop Kelly. The question is, can they stagger things out anymore? Get any sort of other Nampa School District players on a respawn timer? Doesn't look like it. Bob's View now has switched on over to the Hazard, which I brought up as a possibility. Problem is, whatever tank he chooses, he's going to need to get on the point pretty fast, as we are losing time for Nampa School District to make a move. He dives on in, but he is getting focused down. Something terrible as the Annihilation comes out from Flair, giving him a whole bunch of health to work with and a whole bunch of damage to put out. Now he's focusing on the Valkyrie Mercy, trying to pocket any sort of DPS she can find, but that is going to be it for that fight. We're passing the 85% marker, so realistically there could only be one more team fight from Nampa School District, but I don't know if they're even going to make it. One of them has to touch the point to at least keep it contested, and the Hazard is going to try to block off some of Bishop Kelly, makes their way onto the point, so now it's do or die for Nampa School District. Bishop Kelly sitting on 3 ultimates. Overclock now brought up by Elk. It's going to be brought back by Jumpy as both the soldiers are trying to get the right click on each other. We're going to have the sound barrier for Bishop Kelly come out, giving them more health to just stick on through any sort of offensive push. Nampa School District is done, and for good measure, the Blizzard will come out from co-op, wrapping up this fight, freezing up everyone on point, and getting Bishop Kelly a team kill, which will guarantee them this stage. Their sub-level all secured for Bishop Kelly, and they're halfway to winning this first round. We'll take a quick breather and then be informed of which of the next 3 stages we will be heading to. Looks to me as if Icebreaker is next on the docket. Still some pretty pronounced choke points in here, so I don't think both these teams are going to go too divey in their tank placement. They're still going to stick on that Hazard and that Ramatra. Bishop Kelly has really been winning the fight in terms of the tanks. Actually, we're going to have a change over to the Junker Queen for Flair, bringing out that different tank, but a lot of sustain that she can put out, a lot of healing. Commanding Shout definitely can give the team just that little bit extra edge to stay alive and take out their targets. Off we go with the Lucio Speed Boost immediately from Bishop Kelly. They're no doubt going to be getting to the point fast, so that means they can set up where they want to take this fight. Interesting, I've seen a Life Weaver being brought up in Nampa School District. Haven't seen him too much in recent play, but we'll see if Oblivion can make him work. Right now, though, this is great space taking. They forced Nampa School District back past this choke point, and now Bobspew tries to go through. The knife goes out. He tries to separate Bishop Kelly. Bobspew has to retreat on out of there, and even without picking anyone up, just by bodying Nampa School District past all these choke points, Bishop Kelly is going to be able to keep Jumpy on the point and claim it for themselves. Start that score already ticking up for them. Gizmo and Pixels, the 2 supports, come in clutch, as they're going to pick up Bobspew and Oblivion. Without their tank, I don't see Nampa School District able to get a team fight here, so it will have to be a full reset for the team, which means even more percentage points given over to the Bishop Kelly Knights. We will just take a short break here as Jumpy is already more than halfway. I mean, he's trading 2 for 1 in ultimate charge, basically, with Nampa School District on his overclock. I can really just, I've seen Sojourns wipe out the entire enemy team if they can land their right clicks. We're going to take a little bit of an alternate round from Nampa School District as they try the flank. Bishop Kelly goes diving in. Jumpy's going to get hacked as Oblivion is taking a whole lot of damage. Still staying in there. No, he's taken out by Jumpy. And now with a 1% advantage, Bishop Kelly is bringing their attention toward the point where Bob's speed is moving on. Then the knife thrown out. Doesn't look like it hit that Sojourn, but they're still picking up eliminations as Limbo Wheel, Bobspew, and Pie Guy all bite the dust. Bishop Kelly wins another fight. Now we're a little bit more than halfway there. We crossed the 50% marker. Should Bishop Kelly get to 100%, they will win the control round and just be 1 away from claiming this round outright. One last chance, maybe two last chances for Nampa School District. Unfortunately for them, they're a bit ways away from any of their ultimates. Tree of Life is the one that's going to come online for Oblivion, but if they wait for that to be online, then they'll burn the time that they could have used to have an extra team fight here. With that percentage crossing over 80%, now it's going to be this fight or nothing for Nampa School District. They got to make it work right now. Jumpy gets the overclock online. How soon will he use it is the question. Can he get a good shot? Elk is so low on health, and yet the Tree of Life is still held on by Nampa School District. A little bit of a commanding shot from Bishop Kelly, giving them a little bit more stickiness. Kitsune Rush now also online. Should Pixels use it? Flair gets the first pick and the first blood of the fight onto By Guy. Thumble the wheel falls soon after, and that Tree of Life comes out, but it is just a day late and $1 short for Nampa School District. They cannot get onto the point. Bishop Kelly claims it in staggering fashion, winning Watchport Antarctica and moving on to Hybrid with the match point. First play of the game is going to be going on to Flair, and especially in Overwatch 2, ever since they made it a one-tank game, if you don't have a tank that performs, then your team is definitely going to feel it. But no need to worry for the Bishop Kelly Knights, as Flair was a menace. Didn't even really need to use the ultimates. That wasn't even Annihilation. He was just using his Nemesis form to its fullest abilities, getting the shots on there. So now we move on to the second of the possible 3 rounds. This one going to be Hybrid, which means we have a wide variety of maps that we could choose from. Blizzard World, Midtown, Numbani, all great maps which you probably won't see at all. So I'm just going to kill your hopes right here, because 99.999% of the time, teams just decide to go on to King's Row, as it is the most popular stage. It's known as the stage in Overwatch. It's known as Scrims Row because it's the team that everyone scrims on, everyone practices on, everyone plays it to death. And even though you think variety would be the spice of life, it turns out complacency is what teams like. They like what's tried and true, and King's Row might be the choice. But Nampa School District still deciding they could decide to surprise us. I'm always up for a surprise on a Hybrid because, man, I've been to King's Row one too many times. So, plenty of choices, but we'll see if originality wins the day or if complacency wins the day. And we will leave everything at that. Bishop Kelly, I'm pretty sure, though, has the patience to wait for the choice. Seems like they're feeling good enough. They're going to be fine whatever stage they practice on. What we got to focus on, though, is that Flair did not fall at all in those previous matches. And not as long as Bishop Kelly has their tank around to be their front line, soak up all that damage, then it's going to be really difficult to make a dent in Bishop Kelly's lineup. So still Nampa School District, still talking with each other, still deliberating as we are waiting for the choice to come through. We are waiting for a map choice. I suppose sometimes the decision paralysis can really just set in. Sometimes the decision is 1,000 times worse than the actual map. So depending on how long we go, I mean, Bishop Kelly's just kind of lounging back here. I mean, they're fine. They're one ahead. They don't have to worry about anything. In case you're not wondering, whoever loses the round gets the choice of what stage is being played on next. Whoever wins the round doesn't get to choose what stage they play on, but they do get to decide whether they attack or defend first. Now, if you're the leading team, normally the safe play is to defend first, because if you're able to keep the other team from getting the full possible points on their push for the payload, that means you rule, if you have a perfect defense, I should say, you rule out the possibility of it going to overtime. Either your team will win or lose. And often that's very good for the defending team because they know what their win condition is. They can then prepare to switch on over to attack, know where they need to go. There's very little uncertainty, very little to consider. You just know what your goal is. You set it for yourself depending on how well you are on defense, and that is that. So we are still waiting for the decision to go through, although I think I might have warned everybody here and gotten everyone's fears up, all for nothing, because it is not King's Row, thank goodness. We are instead going on over to Eichenwald. And as far as hybrid stages go, it is generally kind of the second most popular behind King's Row. Still a lot of fun stuff you can do on Eichenwald. Can lend itself a little bit more to the one-tank compositions. But now the only thing left up in the air for us is whether Bishop Kelly chose to attack or defend first. Put quite frankly, if they're defending first, they're smart. If they're attacking first, they're showboating. That is just how it goes, because sometimes teams, even though it is safer to defend first if you're leading, they like to attack first to run up the score as much as possible and just show how they're here to play. So if they want to do that, I'm certainly not going to deny them, but I'm going to take another sip of my water because we're just going to be here for a long time should that happen. So just waiting for the final decision to come through. Our first fighting in I Can Vote is going to take place right here in this initial push out. Not too often do we see teams pushing past the main choke point, the archway. Usually teams just kind of, because you can either go two options through that archway. You can either go through the street arch itself, or there is a small hallway, a small interior route to the right. But that's even more of a tight fit as you're trying to go through doorways. We take a look here. Bishop Kelly.
So, how'd you pull all those heists?
Why am I not surprised? It looks like they are going to be attacking first. Oh, this is just what I wanted for Christmas. All right, here we go. Bishop Kelly getting ready. They're going to be bringing out the old Far Mercy composition as well as a Juno in tow. And off we go to the races. 4 minutes on the clock. Flair making his way, leading the team as Nampa School District is going for a lot of long-range damage. They brought out the Bastion and the Junkrat, but already that Junkrat is sitting prey for Co-op. He's going to pick up Bob Spew. And yeah, that's the one hero that is kind of the textbook definition of a Junkrat counter. That Farah is just, she can pick him off from mid-air and not worry about any of those bombs hitting her. Pie Guy also going to be eliminated thanks to the pummel being brought out by Flair. And off we go with Oblivion being taken out of their mech. Gizmo's going to get the final pick on that. Elk is going to find it. Oblivion down for now for the count. Now that the tank's gone, it's just picking up the few remaining stragglers from Nampa School District. And that should be the point taken and the payload unlocked for Bishop Kelly. 1 point on the board, 2 more to go as they try to go and get to this first checkpoint. Already making a bit of room for themselves. Already Tumble Wheels taken out, and that's such bad news for Bobsby because that means there's no hit scan to deal with this Farah. Everything comes down onto Tumblewheel to try to deal with this Farah Mercy. To make matters worse, Co-op has this barrage available for Bishop Kelly to dive into the back line and find someone. Fortunate soul there. Pie Guy was going to have been low on health, as was Oblivion. They're heading in there around half health. The payload all this time, as long as Bishop Kelly sticks. I told you! I warned them about it! I said the barrage would come through, and look at that triple coming on. Helping Bishop Kelly, getting almost the whole team wipe. Elk is going to hang on in there, just lick his wounds and just head on back. But youch, that is a really nasty turn of events for Nampa School District. And Co-op is now just continuing to rub salt in the wound. He's moving right up the choke point and just firing all of the Farah missiles right in there, making it a very dangerous proposition for whoever decides to try to move out into open space. Farah Mercy, they're trying to push damage. Co-op got down to about half health. But right here, Flair is just body blocking this entrance for Nampa School District. They can't push past him, and he uses the Annihilation as well, making him even more tanky, and he can push out even more damage. Very nice combo with the Disruptive Shot, also from Jumpy, doing that area of effect damage. That's going to be the second checkpoint taken, and that's going to be Bishop Kelly getting the second point. 1 more to go. As we move on into the castle, there's going to be a lot less airspace to play with for this Farah Mercy composition. But Pixel is very close to the Valkyrie, still getting damage boosted as self-destruct is thrown out. And not going to find anyone for that one, so that'll be an old gone. But there's still a lot more coming online from Nampa School District, but going to beat them to the chase, I suppose. Jumpy's just going to use that overclock instead. Tumblewheel and Elk came down to O's, but Tumblewheel's eliminated. He can't use his ultimate. Pie Guy's eliminated. He can't heal. And Bishop Kelly just keeps the stagger on going. Nampa School District's going to have to throw everything that they possibly could onto the point. And now just some last-minute Panic Ultimates trying to clear out that payload, but I'm not even seeing. There goes the artillery shot. The question is it too late? I don't know if Tumblewheel can turn things around. Cannot. The payload already stops its forward journey as the artillery comes on through. So that's 3-0 for Bishop Kelly. Going to move on now to the defending round. Same rules apply. Napa School District will be afforded full 4 minutes. Should they make it to the first checkpoint and unlock that payload, they will get more time added to their time bank. And should they make it to the checkpoint, they'll get a little bit more. But they've got a very big pace to deal with. Bishop Kelly decided to wow us all with the 3-0 scoreline and make it known that even if Napa School District does manage to push through here, they're still going to have to fight out in overtime. Whatever teams have left over is going to be how much time they have for overtime. And 4 minutes, 35 seconds is a lot for Bishop Kelly to work with. So it's going to be a tough fight forward. This is the last chance for Napa School District to be able to get the win and move this on to Game 3, make it go on to Flashpoint should it come to that. Napa School District is going to be bringing out the Sigma, which is a bit interesting. He does have a nice shield to work with, but you need to land those left clicks very well to make him work. The thing is, with the Far Mercy already in the air, I'm not quite sure, what Sigma's abilities are going to quite do. He doesn't have the best left click for it, and his ultimate, the Gravitic, while it is very nice, I mean, that's ground-based champions, but we'll see what happens. Bishop Kelly, though, still content to just let the Far fire all the Mercils, and if it ain't folk to fix it, Bob Spew is going to pick it up, and Bishop Kelly already off to a good start, up one in this fight. 30 seconds already burned off from Napa School District's time bank. They're going to wait for the full respawn to come on. They only lost one person, so the team will just hang out near their spawn waiting for this. Tumblewheel trying to peek out around this corner, throw out any of those Junkrat bombs to hit anybody, but the health bars of Bishop Kelly are remaining solid and steadfast as they move on in, going deep into enemy territory with the barrage, gets Oblivion Pie Guy. Tumblewheel also next with the Pulsar Cannons from Gizmo, and it's going to be another team reset for Napa School District. Napa School District, as we take a look at their ultimates, closest forward to is the Nano Boost, whereas Bishop Kelly, they've already used their first ultimate, the Barrage. The fact that Co-op managed to charge that up in just 2 team fights is insane because he's getting all these picks left and right. L gets eliminated as well. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I really love the movement and momentum of a Far, but sometimes you just stay still and click the left button to win. And hey, that's the strategy that I like. It's tied and true. Unless I have to think about the better. But on we go, Jumpy also doing good work, not to discredit the other DPS from Bishop Kelly. Sojourn that is juiced is something to be very afraid of, and it might be even more frightening as the overclock just about to come online from Jumpy. Junkrat, though, that's what I'm talking about. His bombs are very hard to hit a mid-air target. So Co-op's just going to pick him off yet again. Napa School District does have 2 ultimates to use now. They're going to throw the Nano Boost onto Oblivion. I like this. This tank is going in, trying to clear some room out from Prop's choke point. But the Valkyrie comes out. Sleep Dart goes on to Co-op, and in response, the Annihilation is going to come out to Claire, make him very tanky, and the Barrage picks up Bob Spew yet again. Oblivion bites the dust, as does Tumblewheel. That's a tough loss for Napa School District because they used their ultimates that they had. It's only going to really be this Annihilation now from Oblivion once he responds. 1 minute and about a minute and a half left means we're probably going to have 2 team fights left. Bishop Kelly has 2 ultimates, so they could use 1 per fight or just use both here to reset. It's really their wheelhouse. What they decide to do is we close in on the 1 minute marker. Napa School District, though, still struggling to push past this choke point. The Bastion's going to try to take Co-op out of the air, but with the Mercy Pocket, that far is just too much to deal with. Jumpy lands one with the overclock, as does Flare. And they, oh wow, they used both of that, the Orbital Ray and the overclock. All right, so, yeah, I mean, okay. They chose the win more route, I suppose, but that means they won't have this ultimate available for this team fight, which could end up actually being the most important team fight because that Annihilation from Oblivion is a very powerful ultimate to use. He can clear a lot of ground out for his team should he use that, but the Far is still pushing down damage. Oblivion still trapped behind that archway. And now goes Co-op into the back line. Bob Spew, Tumblewheel, and Pie Guy. 3 of them picked up yet again by Bishop Kelly. The barrages have just been on point. And now with just 15 seconds left, Bishop Kelly just a hop, skip, and a jump away from getting their victory here. Elk is taken out by Flair. I think there's only one left for Nampa School District. Maybe they can get a touch on the point, but Bike Guy is eliminated. They can't do that, so the round will end. We will not go into overtime, and Bishop Kelly will win the first round of this tournament 2-0. And we'll see the play of the game right now from Co-op. Barrage. Yeah, okay. No big shock there. That was just kind of, we all knew that would be the play of the game because he was on point. Played the Far Mercy to its fullest abilities and just made it a very unpleasant match all around for his opponent. So great job to Bishop Kelly for winning that round. But like I said, there are 3 rounds total. We got to move on to the other round on the other side of the bracket, which will be another best of 3. And whoever wins that match will get the privilege of facing off against Bishop Kelly. And oh boy, you better watch that last match closely because you'll have tough opponents. But this is what it's all about and what I like to see. Handshakes all around, giving these students the opportunity to compete up on the big stage, be involved in that school spirit, and fight for their communities. And that is what I like to see also, the good sportsmanship at the very end. Applause to all of our teams for their time lended to this event, and we will, speaking of time, are going to take a short break, then be back with round 2 to see who goes up against Bishop Kelly in the finals. So don't go away. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to the second day of the IETA Expo. We are currently in the midst of our Overwatch High School tournament, and now we've got another best of three to bring to you. We've got Bora High School ready to go up against CUNA, the CUNA Krakens, and we'll see if the Krakens can bring the hurt to Bora. But right now, we have to talk about where we are going to be starting out. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer. Thank you for watching. And where we are starting out, well, it looks to me, as I look on over the side, just take a look at my cheat sheet, we are going to be starting out on Busan as the first control stage, and that is definitely one of the more eclectic, I suppose you could say, control stage as you could play on, because there's a huge variety of difference in the terrain that Busan offers, from the very tight enclosed spaces of Mecha Base to the wide open skyline of downtown and the verticality that that can offer. A lot of fun stuff can happen on Busan, so off we go into the second Overwatch fight of the night. Bora versus CUNA. We'll see who wins this fight and is going to move on to the grand finals to face off against Bishop Kelly. As we wait to load in and see what the characters, what the teams are going to choose, we see right here we got the downtown area, Mecha Base way off on the horizon, and also the option of Shrine as the third and final flavor of stage that Busan can offer. As of right now, though, it seems the teams have loaded in, are ready with their picks. And off we go toward the action to start everything off. First, a little trip to the karaoke, because you always got to hit up the karaoke bar before you ready to fight to the death. And off we go as the round is ready to start. Bora in the blue, CUNA Krakens in the red. And we're already going to see some very heavy-hitting DPSs come out. Bora has brought out the Ashe, which can really do work from a high vantage point, but the Sojourn, we already saw how much power she has, Bishop Kelly smash. So which team will win the first team fight? Both are exchanging fire to start out. Boba already going down to half health on that Roadhog. Don't really see Roadhog too much as a tank pick, but if it's the one they're most comfortable with, then we'll see what work they can do with it. Draconic already gained focus down and slumped. Gets the first blood of the game onto Lucha. It's traded back as Boba takes out Draconic. Like I said, if this is the tank that works out best for you, then go for it. Already putting a lot of damage out. We'll see if any of those Roadhogs can land. What great collaboration between Slumped and his support. The Zenyatta with the Orb of Discord just melted away Twisted. Bora now has already started the charge on this control point. Boba tries to take a breather, but the damage is so much, it just cuts right through all that healing. CUNA Krakens will take the point back for themselves. Taking a look at the ultimates, we're very close to the tactical visor for the Krakens, but No one else is really that close to their ultimate, so this could just basically be a free one for Slump to use. Not really have anything to... The other team wouldn't really have anything to answer back to, should you choose to use it in this fight. They'll decide to take the side route. Boba, though, trailing. They're putting their squishies up front, which could be a bad move, but we'll see. The Reaper tries to get in a flank on the Juno and manages to land it. That's such a great target for Bora to take on out. Now they're ready to move on to the point. Boba heals back up with the take a breather. Tactical Visor still being held on by the Kraken. Draconic really hurts for help. And there goes the Tactical Visor, but I don't know if it can bring the team fight back. Oh my goodness, he gets hooked in response, brought right up to Boba, and he fires that junk gun right in his face. Oh, you love to see it. That's your favorite thing to see a Roadhog player do, the ability to land that hook and just melt away whatever target that hook lands on. Even better for Bora is not only did they win that fight, but they are really good in terms of their ult economy. We've got this Kitsune Rush available. There goes another hook trying to bring out that Zenyatta, and that Zenyatta will be melted off by Lucha. The hooks have been landing for Bora, and the Pulse Bomb onto Sigma will fall as well. Now there's no supports whatsoever for Cuna. No healing, and that's going to mean any sort of damage is permanent for this fight, at least until the supports re-heal, or they just walk away and let themselves go on their own.
Now.
See the overclock brought out by Cuna, but they need to start landing hits with it. Oh, the Reaper just gets right in their face with the Death Blossom. Gets a complete ace, takes out the enemy team all by himself. That is a play for the ages right there from Bora. Winning the whole team fight by herself, 1-5. And Lucha has definitely secured himself the play of the game. There's no question, if that's not the play of the game, then something's wrong with the game's AI, and believe me, it's gotten a lot of weird picks before, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't give that play of the game, but it should. Getting the ace all by yourself with the Death Blossom, that's huge. Wow. Bozo just gets eliminated, melted. Xander gets a right click onto Gammy Bear. Lucha Gordo also falls. Xander and Slump were traded back, though. Great work by Twisted. We've been paying so much attention to Lucha Gordo. Twisted also getting some glory for himself as the other DPSs picks up a double. Echo Cow gets the double as well. And Bora takes the first control point.
Score 1-0.
Shrine looks like, as we saw the little load there, is going to be the next stage. So might not be seeing Mecha Base at all here on Busan. So overall, Shrine also has a lot of room to work with. A lot of airspace. But a lot of cover also on the initial point. As you'll see, the center point here, the center Shrine, is covered by that roof, and that can allow for some shenanigans with a character like a Wrecking Ball or something. I mean, this is a great shrine to just spin on around with Reckless Abandon, but we're not going to be seeing too many swaps here. Bora knows what they want to play. They know it works, and they're ready to move on forward. Control point unlocks in 15 seconds. Already, though. Looks like Twisted tried a little bit of flank to get into the back line. They called him out, and he had to recall on out of there. Gordo lands first blood of this round onto Xander. And Sigma also taking a huge amount of damage on that Juno. Draconic lands the pick onto Lucha Gordo. Twisted trades it back with a pick onto Slump. Bora, though, just based on positioning, they're keeping Cuna away from that point. Ooh, bad target for the hook, but he just recovers. He realizes Sigma's low health beside him. So what a great flick off to the side to be able to one-click him. Bozo also getting a pick onto Twisted. Things being traded back and forth, but like I said, as long as Bora touches that point, keeps their presence on it, the score will continue to move up in their favor. One member of Cuna has to touch the point, and no, getting pulled in by the Roadhog hook doesn't count. You have to land win that team fight by herself. Kana gets taken out. Tough position for the Krakens right now as they have no tank. But the artillery does pick up Echo Cow. Maybe they can push this in towards some sort of forward momentum. Although, might have been off more than he can chew. He gets right in the face of the turret form for Slump and pays a dear price for it. Now, Bora doesn't have any sort of tank to speak of, but they do have two ultimates that just came online, Tree of Life and Death Blossom. The Death Blossom's going to have to wait for another day as Xander gets the right click shot onto him, the railgun shot. Twisted looks like he threw out the pulse bomb right as he got it. Wasn't able to pick up any eliminations. So there's an ult down the drain, but still two more for Bora left as they reset for this next team fight. Krakens, meanwhile, after taking the point for themselves, they have a nano boost available, which that would make that Bastion extra deadly if it's in the turret form, but I think the prime target here is just going to be putting it on their tank, but in goes that Death Blossom again. It's not quite an ace this time, but it does pick out Xander. And we see the nano boost going on to Slump, but he needs to amp the damage out, and they're going to negate that by using the Tree of Life to keep him on the point. That is a great ult cancellation by Bora, and that's going to allow them to get the point back for themselves, go up above 60%, and sure, why not get a little bit of a stagger on top as well as Bozo is taken out. That's going to force Kuna to wait even longer as their last few remaining members respawn, giving even more time over toward Bora. In fact, Kuna, I think they only have one team fight left here. We're past 75%. By the time they get to the point, it'll be past 80, so it's do or die right now, or else Bora takes this round outright. And there goes the artillery, already trying to focus on the squishies. I don't know if that Trace can get out of there, but they're able to tank it through. And Boba now just has his whole hog available, could push people off the point, is now waiting around the corner, misses on the hook, has to get life gripped on out of there, but that's great work by Cammy Bear protecting his tank. And Xander gets eliminated by Lucha Gordo. Whole hog as well, into the back line, it's completely unprepared. It's going to keep him far away from the point and allow Bora to take it on Busan. And, yeah, we know what this should be. We know what play this should be. The question is, okay, the game, it pulled through for us right here. It's never good for a player to get the uncommon achievement of an ace only to be denied their play of the game by the powers that be in the virtual world. But Lucho will get his highlight, get his clip of ace, and that will mean that we are ready to move on to Hybrid with Kuna choosing to decide what stage they want to play on. They'll get up there ready for a huddle. Meanwhile, Bora is going to be more than content to wait for the next match where they will be on match point. They could win this 2-0. And they're discussing everything right now. All the options that personally be Kings Row, Eichenwald, Blizzard World, Midtown. Actually, they have to wonder, but I can just check my cheat sheet here of all the stages that maps are in the stage pool, so we can just get full 100% transparency of what we could look forward to. The potential hybrid maps, we could go to Eichenwald, Kings Row, Midtown, or Noombani. Those are the 4 changes. And, yeah. Just when I was a little bit surprised and thinking I'd have a bit of variety in my life with the Eichenwald, complacency is back in full force, and we are just running it on Kings Row yet again for the 5,000th time this semester. But hey, you know what? It's good for a reason, and it's popular for a reason because it can often give us a very exciting matches. So off we go on to Kings Row, and yes, I do give this grief on to every single team that happens to choose Kings Row. Even our home Boise State, I have lectured them many a times for instantly choosing the Kings Row. But that's just how it is sometimes. As we move on, get an overview of that stage. Here's the ending part of it, the factory, which is where so many of the matches end up, since a lot of teams, they either get a full hold or they push all the way to the factory. It's usually either one or the other. Here's Street's face, second to face after you unlock the payload. Some nice high ground here and some long sidelines that could help a character like an Ashe or a Sojourn. Sojourn is very dominant on Kings Row. Kings Row also lends itself to a lot of brawly compositions, a lot of Maze brought out, but Hazard now with his wall too that he can throw out, that might be the replacement for it. But Rhine May, that's the bread and butter of Kings Row, and we get an overlook here of the first initial point. watched over by the Outerworth Hotel, which you'll find me resting on in the top floor. I've been there so many times. I've filled out the punch card and gotten my room comped, but it allows a great view of the first fight ready to take place over the main plaza. And off we go. Kuna Kraken's going to be attacking first. Lucia Gordo hanging up with the Farah is going to be trying to just put a dent in Kuna Kraken's forward push. It's going to put a lot of pressure. Since the Mei isn't the best hit scan character, it's all up to Xander, this Sojourn, to neutralize the threat that Farah places in mid-air. We all saw how good that Farah was for Bishop Kelly and how much of a pain it can be. And already it takes out Xander, the only DPS that could have been a threat. It's just my torso reset by the Kuna Krakens. They're going to try to stay alive, but he's so hard to just move through. Sigma trying to bring out the Annihilation and the pummel. Gets good amount of damage onto Boba, but he's well pocketed by his tank. He's going to be able to heal back up. Kuna Kraken's not losing anything as they move their way forward. A lot of damage being soaked up by both tanks, but Lucha Gordo still picking up the eliminations this far, getting the double. Twisted will chip in on it, picking up Sigma main, and that will be another reset. And we might actually get a stagger here as it's an ambush. They can't escape through Hotel. Oh, and that's going to burn even more time off from the Kraken's time bank. Now, if you remember from round one, I talked about the decision the winning team of the first round gets and whether they want to attack or defend first. I characterize that as the smart decision and the showboating decision. Luckily, for this match, I have to commend Bora for going for the smart decision, defending first, because that means if they hold the Kuna Krakens to this first point, if the Kuna Krakens can't... Oh my goodness, I can't even elaborate right now, because the barrage goes into the back line, but great cancellation out there with Kunai Blade from Bozo, but Twisted is fighting on back, taking out the tank for Kuna, and the overclock is just going to make Twisted even more deadly, giving Bora another team fight win. Anyway, finish up my earlier thought, should Bora hold the Kuna Krakens to this first point, which they've already burned off half the time, it's looking good. Should the Kuna Krakens not get the payload at all, that means that Bora only has to unlock one tick on the control point. They don't even have to start pushing the payload forward. They just have to get the smallest amount of presence on the first point and they win it. But in we go with the Annihilation and the Coalescence and the Kitsune run. The Kuna Krakens are throwing everything at this. They want it so bad, and they're going to be able to mow over Boba, but the other ultimates out from Bora, the Kitsune Rush, and their own Valkyrie aren't going to be enough to stop the pure amount of damage that Sigma main has. Very well played by the Kuna Krakens. Realized that they could save up their ult economy and then just push them all through to gain control of the payload. So, that scenario that I was talking about earlier for Bora, now it's just gotten a lot more complicated. We're going to have to find out how far Kuna pushes forward on their payload, and that will be the win condition for Bora. They'll get 2 more minutes added to their time bank, so we're just above 3.5 minutes. Already a good bit of damage. You see the Bastion being pocketed from around the corner, trying to push as much damage as he can through this choke point. Meanwhile, Signal's just going to try to shield that as much as possible. Destructive shot thrown out by Twisted, but Kuna Kraken still holding on for life. Also go into Bookstore trying to get a flank on the tank, but Echo Cow gets the first blood of the fight by taking out Xander. Bora now trying to go further on into the back line or take out Kuna's tank. You see the tactical advisor be brought out, gets a quick pick onto Cammy Bear. Gordo also falls. The Slumped is traded on back, keeping Bora in the fight as long as Boba is still alive in the tank. He can fight on the front lines against Sigma main. Maybe take him out as Sigma main so low on health, down to 25. But Boba is taken out. Sigma main escaping by the skin of their teeth. Thank their supports for that one, because that is just what the supports are there for. Bailing out the tank when they're down at 25 health, my goodness. Well, 1 minute spent and already the Kuna Krakens are more than halfway there toward this next checkpoint. Kuna Krakens available with the overclock and on the Kitsune Rush as well. Coalescence also coming online, and this strategy of all these ultimates worked for them before. Oh, and everyone's going to try to use their ultimates, but it is Bora who uses them first, and that allowed Lucha Gordo to get a few doubles on the board. And Kuna Krakens just gets team wiped and spends all of their ultimates in the process. Ooh, That's, well, they still have the overclock, and Bora now has the ultimate advantage, which that fight could not have gone better for Bora. And now they'll get onto the payload, and you don't push it back very fast, but you can get to push the payload a little bit back if you're the defending team and you get presence on it. Already the overclock shot goes out onto Xander from Twisted. We got both tanks trying to brawl it out, trying to shield each other from all their damage as the Annihilation is brought out. Boba isn't using his, however, because it's Sigma who's still in trouble, and he gets eliminated by Twisted. Huge win for Bora, and they're going to keep the eliminations piling on as they throw out the artillery and the Annihilation, but just to show I'm equal opportunity here, I did mention the Kraken spent all their ultimates in the previous fight before that last one. And Bora just spent all of them too, which you gotta consider decisions like that. If you've already taken out the enemy team's tank, is it worth it just to use your ultimates to just try to win a fight that you're already guaranteed to win, or do you save them for a rainy day? One thing to keep in track, if you're an observer, look for how many check marks are next to those hero icons, because that's an ultimate that the players can use. And Slunker's just charged up his tactical visor. We're going to see the Captive Sun now brought on for Cammy Bear. A huge amount of damage placed onto the Krakens. That is going to take out Sigma main. Cammy Bear straight back in response, but I'd trade a DPS for a tank any day, and they're going to keep the eliminations going on to Xander. That's another reset for the Krakens when they don't have time to afford. We've got just 15 seconds left, and these remaining DPSs have to make it happen for the Krakens. Slumped is off to a good start with the pick on Twisted, but Bora still has Boba available, and there is the Kitsune Rush available for Bora as well. Now the Kitsune Rush for both teams. I'm not going to razz them this time for using it because it is do or die right now. They need to win this team fight, and Lucha Gordo comes through with a double, tearing right through the backline of the Cuna Krakens as Slump, Sigma main, Xander, Bozo, and Draconic are going to have to wave goodbye to their chances of getting all the points. They're only going to stick with the 1 point they got for unlocking the payload and the distance they pushed on that payload. That's going to be 106.68 meters. And so just as long as Bora is able to push just a little bit farther, not a whole lot, but just a little bit farther, that'll be good enough for them to win this round and be ready to face Bishop Kelly in the final best of 5. Bit of a time for everyone to take a little bit of a breather as we get a slight reprieve from all the actions, but now the 2 gates are just about ready to unlock. Teams are being told to prepare to defend and attack. Teams have loaded back in their hero selections. We haven't seen too many hero swaps, which has really stood out to me throughout most of the matches here so far today. Teams have just been comfortable kind of with their heroes and have just stuck with them for the large part. There have been a few swaps here and there, but overall, sticking on it. Although we are seeing a swap here off of the Far Mercy, at least for the first point.
4, 3,
Bora is much more confident here in bringing out the Ashe and the Tracer instead. We're caught at the first choke point, the gate. Sigma May trying to land some flame strikes from out through the gate. Maywall heads up. Cuna Kraken's trying to split off Bora, but it's Boba coming on through as a star tank taking out Slump. And Cuna Krakens are still hurting for health. They try to use this med pack from the soldier to heal them back up, but Lucha Gordo still gets a pick onto Bozo. Xander, though, comes through as the hero to stop the push by Bora. And at least for this first attack, Bora will be held at bay. We'll wait for Cammy Bear to respawn, so now Bora can attack as a full team. Sigma Main trying to peek out from around this corner, land one good fire strike, try to get that ultimate charged up, but off goes the Annihilation Nemesis form. Oh, he gets pinned right by the Reinhardt. You love to see it. That's the kind of Ryan play you love to see. And now he's free to go into the back line. He is going to be able to take out Cammy Bear, and wisely, he's not extending himself out too far. He knows he just needs to defend this choke point, so Cuna will win that team fight, walk away from it, and be more than happy with how that turned out. Dive back in. Oh, we are going crew dive back in. We are going full dive from Bora here, who's now brought out the Winston. Try to jump into that back line, maybe get some sort of support. But to bowl off a dive effectively, your team needs to be communicating and working as a whole unit. And he gets walled off. He's going to have to spend his jump to get on out of there. Great May wall by the Krakens. And Luke Gordo falls thanks to Xander. Krakens putting up a very respectable defense here. They've burned out about half the time from Bora. Slump picking up a double as well. That'll be another win for the Krakens.
Got meds. Who needs them?
Don't move.
Oh my good. Oh. Someone unfortunately getting a bad case of the fat finger right there. It hits their ultimate button and wastes it. Meanwhile, Bob is too precious to be wasted. Bora will use him as they try to push forward. But Sigma Main lands. Oh, what a shatter coupled with the tactical visor to just take out Bora. Especially when they used all of their ultimates. If we remember, the way the Krakens pushed through was saving up all their ultimates and then using them in an overwhelming show of force, but I don't know if Bora has that option now. They spent everything they had. They're going to have the Tree of Life here, but that's going to be the only ultimate they have for this next fight. We do see a flank trying to come through from Lynch Gordo, trying to get into the back line, but the flanks haven't been too successful, and yeah, that's going to continue on in that trend. Lucha Gordo eliminated by Draconic. Now they're left chasing after Bora as supports were taken out. That means very hard for healing. Bora's going to be very hard for healing. They throw the wall up. Sigma Main picks off Echo Cow. And Echo Cow trades back onto Slump. Boba lands a huge pick onto Bozo, though. They've taken out most of the back line. They've taken out the DPSs and the healers. All it takes is one team fight one. And Bora will be able to claim the point unless Krakens are very quick on a respawn and manage to get back to contest this point. They're running, but no, it's not going to be fast enough. This round is not over. 2 more minutes added to Bora's time bank. And now this has gone from they were just on the ropes to now this is a very winnable match for them, especially if Twisted gets the first blood of the fight, taking out Xander with those railgun shots. Twisted now peeking out around the corner. He might have a whole lot more railgun shots to use now that the overclock is available. And he's going to use it. But Boba is in the front line using the Annihilation and the pommel from the Nemesis form. Twisted lands one with the railgun shot onto Sigma Main. 2 ultimates fed by Bora and a team fight 1. And they have 3 members on that payload to make it go forward at the fastest possible speed. They're already more than halfway there toward that 106 meters that they need to win. 1 ultimate now for Bora. Kuna has a lot of ultimates they could possibly use to defend. The one thing here is it's a question of if the Krakens use all their ultimates. If one person's been using the ultimate, usually the other team uses all of them too. But the question is that a waste? Especially if the Blizzard is able to take out the tank from Bora, or at least freeze him right dead in his tracks. And Slump gets the first pick onto Lucha Gordo. We're going to see the Coalescence be brought out. Kraken's not really spending anything else right now. Bora still staying alive. The payload, oh, it's so close, but it looks like it's just a soft reset for now for Bora. They still, Krakens have played this smart by keeping those ultimates. They can use them for this next team fight as Slump gets rid of Twisted. Bora now down 1, and what a shatter! It goes into everybody from Bora, and the Rhine goes charging on in onto the defensive back line. It's only going to be a flower and a prayer for this Lifeweaver to get away, and even that might not be enough. Oh, he gets away just by the skin of his teeth, but it is a team wipe, no matter how you slice it, for the Krakens. Effectively a team wipe, forcing the enemy team to reset. And look at this, still 2 ultimates available for the Kraken, this Kitsune Rush and the Tactical Visor. I love how disciplined Kuna has been on their ultimates. And the fight's already won, no need to spend any more. Now we'll see how many they have to spend to win this time. Both teams have used a Kitsune Rusher going in. Life Breather with the Tree of Life. That is so much healing, though, for Bora. It's going to keep him alive as the Kraken's backline is eliminated, as well as their front line as Sigma Main is taken out. That's a team fight 1 for Bora. They're far enough away. Oh, just any sort of delay that the CUNA Krakens could get on here. Okay, they'll delay them for about 5 seconds. I think we're going to be going most likely to overtime here. Okay, they're trying to make space for themselves because CUNA knows they have to push that choke point. They have to get on the payload to be able to stop it and drive this on to overtime. But their tank goes down. That might have been the last chance that the Krakens had. They're going to have to bring this back in spectacular fashion. But Boba, great use of the pummel and the overclock. The Blizzard whips. And that is going to be the end of a long and bitter fight on Kings Row. But Bora claims it, winning 2-0. But I have to give such a massive shout out. I have to give such a massive shout out to CUNA as well with that old discipline that we saw at the very end. We haven't seen that all day, and I loved them. You know, they were playing until the very end, made that match go on for as long as it did, and almost drove this to a Game 3, and it was very much an exciting match to watch. So congratulations, though, to Bora. They now get to go up against Bishop Kelly to see who is going to be the champion of the day for IETA Overwatch. So we'll take one more break, get Bishop Kelly back up on stage, and then get ready to jump into the best of 5 to end it all right after this. Welcome back to day 2 of the IETA Expo, and we are here ready to get down to our grand final match in Overwatch to crown a champion for the day. We've got Bora going up against Bishop Kelly. I'm still your host, Jacob Palmer, but I've got a special guest now, Riley Boyd, Business and Development Coordinator for Boise State Esports, joining me for this fight. You've been all around the IETA lately, just seeing all the wonderful things this convention has to offer, and you saw both of the 2 games leading up to this as well, so you know how tough an opponent Bishop Kelly's going to be.
You know, we saw Bishop Kelly last week as well at the Winter Games. We saw both of these teams, actually. Bishop Kelly is consistent. They play the same way every time. They take care of business. What I've been impressed with, Bora's improvement. Just from last week when we saw them at Winter Games to now, watching them play in that game, that last game,
yeah,
it's impressive to see the trajectory already in 7 days.
Yeah, and it is going to come down, you know, to those fundamentals of fighting as a team, making sure you spend your ults effectively. Like, I was so pleased just in that last fight from where Bora started to where they ended, because we started off with the fights as we've seen all day. One ult gets used, they all get used. But toward the end, they stretched King's Row out so long because they had improved so much. So, I mean, this, you know, we don't know what could happen here with this game. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I think it's all going to come down to these first couple of fights. I think both of these teams, you hear the screaming and yelling, right? There's so much momentum and energy. I think if Bora's able to take an early team fight, I think the whole trajectory of this series changes. And with this being a best of 5 as well, right? Momentum continues to be more important because, you know, if you get this to a game 4, all of a sudden, again, mentalities change, you know, on a knife's edge.
This first fight means a lot because of the particular mode order that we have: control, hybrid, and then flashpoint. Hybrid and flashpoint, I mean, hybrid usually defaults to King's Row, and flashpoint usually defaults to Savasta, but there's only 2 choices. So winning this first game, if you're the leading team, gives you such an advantage because you can pretty much guarantee what map you're going to be fighting on.
Love seeing a hog come out as well from Bora, excuse me. That's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like seeing the hog. In fact, we're going to get the Junkrat Roadhog composition here, so we'll see if they can do the hook and cook. But right now, it's not quite working out as a whole bunch of damage is being thrown out by Bishop Kelly. Co-op is just right back to where he was on this far Mercy, and that is definitely a problem that Bora is going to have to deal with. They're already swapping over to the Soldier for that bit of hit scam.
Trades early, both teams finding one pick. Everyone's getting off respawn quickly, and they're trying to get the point, but BK is starting to get that early advantage, and not a real lot of trades in that first fight, but BK did well to win the positioning battle. So that's 2 more picks as well there for BK.
Gizmo and Jumpy both get a pick for themselves, putting Bishop Kelly, well, now up to a huge advantage in players. Last few remaining members of Bora trying to get on back without getting staggered, but Echo Cow falls, and Bora is going to be sent back to start and have to wait yet again to fight as a team.
Yeah, now this is where, if you're Bora, sometimes the temptation can be to almost stagger push this point just out of desperation as, you know, the deaths come in Patience is critical here, right? You don't want to give this up. You got probably at least 2 more team fights here. No reason to just go in and rush, one person at a time. Wait for your team, gather up, and then take this thing 5-on-5 again.
All right, as we go into the next team fight, we got the Terror Surge online used by Bishop Kelly. Gets everyone with the combination of the barrage. That is so deadly. They even stand up on stage to celebrate. Bishop Kelly gets a full team wipe.
Wow, we saw that a little bit in their last game as well. The understanding of how to utilize the ults is just ridiculous. That the double play there, the Orisa being on point as well to get that thing started, that was about as good a coordination as you can ask for.
Yep. I mean, situations like that put a lot of pressure on the supports like Bora's Kiriko here, on stuff like the Suzu, just your get-out-of-jail-free cards to weather a combo like that. But unfortunately for Bora, they weren't able to, and Bishop Kelly will claim that one in a clean 100-0.
Now, again, if you're Bora, this is a mentality thing. BK won that first point. They won the early fights. If you're Bora now, you got to figure out how to reset, and you got to figure out how to reset quickly. I'm looking for some hog plays over the well here. That's always what we want to see. Maybe some boops as well.
Yeah, but if Bora chose the hog for a reason, you have to use him on in Ilios well. I mean, don't tell me you've chosen him all up until this point, and then the one stage that is most suited towards him, you back out at the last moment.
And yeah, there it is. As expected, you see it, the Echo as well coming out. So a little bit of a switch up in comp. Pretty similar to what we saw from BK on the last side, though. So see if Bora is able to utilize the switch that they want here. And this team fight here is critical. You got to find this. You got to find this early team fight.
And we actually are going to have a bit of aerial combat between Cammy Bear and Co-op as the Echo is brought out. And it looks like a flank is being attempted into the back line. And right now, you can see how close. Oh my goodness, Cammy Bear gets taken out with the boop, but not from the Roadhog or the Lucio, but from the Pharah. Those environmentals can still be a factor with Pharah as well. And yet another one piled up by Coop. The Pharah Mercy is just too good right now.
Yeah, this is a Pharah masterclass really at this point. About as good of an example of how to play this as you're going to find. And look at the ult lead that DK has as well. They're already about halfway on 3. I mean, this is setting them up so well for the next team fights as well. When you see Pharah and Orisa already both well over the 50% mark. This is going to be hard for Bora. They got to find something quickly.
Oh no, they get pushed right off the edge. Luchagordo falls. That's no tank now for Bora. And that in Overwatch 2 is almost a guaranteed team reset yet again, giving more time over to Bishop Kelly to keep running up the score.
Orisa ult is online, and it's getting pretty close. There's going to be another one as well. So this is desperation time here for Bora. They've got to figure out something quickly. I mean, their best play is probably going to get Tracer up to that ult point and then try and play around it, but it's tough to play around that unless you're ready to get in position quickly.
The old clock shot moving on in. Uh-oh, I see a barrage, and it just cuts them all off as they try to retreat. The barrages just every single time wipe out the team.
I mean, it's the Orisa and Barrage combo, right? The Pharah just knows when Orisa's gonna gather them all up there, and then it's just an easy takedown. It's beautiful to watch.
Co-op also getting the pick on to Twisted, and this is final team fight territory, but Bora's having a hard time resetting. They're going to use the Coalescence, try to give themselves a bit more healing, or just get a pick onto Co-op. I like that! You know what? If you spend an ultimate to get that far out of the air, finally, I call that an ultimate well spent. The problem is, with the Mercy, there's going to be a res, so now Co-op is back to getting picks. So that was either you take them both out, or you don't get it, but I like the sentiment.
You know, it's always the most depressing thing when you find a pick that's been getting you the whole game and you hear, heroes never die. It's like, man, what do you do? What more can you do?
Well, at this point, all Bishop Kelly needs to do is win this team fight. Oh my goodness, that was such a good shot by Co-op in the air on to Cammy Bear. There's just one left by Bora. They're taken out, and that will do it for Ilios. Bishop Kelly up 1 in the match.
Yeah, that was a pretty good display there. That was 200% to 0. That was a class in how to play control.
Up we go, scene 2. I mean, there were multiple times, but this was the first major combo we saw, the one that led to a full team wipe. And that was probably the more impressive one. So now Bishop Kelly.
I mean, what do you say? I mean, at that point, you know, you haven't. I don't know when the last time this team dropped a control point, let alone map, was. It has to have been a while. They understand how to play with each other. It's so hard when you know exactly what's going to happen. As soon as those ults go up, as soon as you see the Orisa ult go up, and you just know the barrage is coming next. What do you do if you're on the other team? If they just play a choke point, you can't play around it.
Well, I'll tell you what you do. You don't choose King's Row for hybrid. That's going to be the one piece of advice that I put forward.
No, that's
Probably
just
not
your
gonna be
bias.
That's just the advice, whatever it is, okay? Whatever question you ask me, that's going to be the answer.
Oh, you know, at one of my previous schools that I was the director at, we used to call it Scrims Row because we saw it so often. You know, I think it's the default pick. It's the comfort pick for so many teams here. But I think you're right. You know, as production folks and as caster folk, we want to see something different. Switch it up. Switch it up, Bora. We believe in you.
It's going to be King's Row.
It's probably going to be King's Row.
Yeah.
I mean, just realistically. We're just waiting for the word to come in from production, and we've kind of resigned ourselves to it. You know, prepare for the worst. And
our prayers have been answered. It is actually Numbani. Thank goodness, Bora. Listen, Bora, you're the winners in my book. You chose Numbani, which I like a lot more than Eichenwald or King's Row, so I'm happy.
It's a great map.
Where's my trophy? I want to hand the not King's Row trophy to Bora.
I'm down to make that a trophy. Let's get with the IEA folks, Nate and all of them. Let's have you played King's Row the least trophy this year. I'm down to present that on behalf of
make it like 5 times bigger than the actual trophy, okay?
I
will provide the funding. I will reach into my own pocket and dig down deep to make sure that's the most spectacular trophy ever.
It'd be a phenomenal award show, realistically, if that's the only thing we're presenting. I think a lot of people would get behind that.
All right, so here we go on to Numbani. And just like all hybrid maps, a possible 3 points can be claimed, but this first point here has so much high ground for heroes like an Ashe to play with. We're not going to see an Ashe be brought out. Or Bishop Kelly. Oh, of course. They did what they did the first round. They're attacking first because they want to show.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, look at the verticality that BK has here compared to Bora as well, right? One's gonna be taking care of business on the ground with that Rhine, but then you look at what BK's got, that Echo, that Mercy. They're gonna get up in the air. The high ground is gonna be absolutely critical here if you're BK, taking that high ground, and Bora's got to figure out a way to stop it. Rhine's got to just sit that point with shield and just block everything.
Well, at this point, Slayer just trying to pummel down as much damage as possibly can from this vantage point. Down goes in the hands of Boba, who's just pummeling them from the Nemesis form. Bora gets the first blood, though. That's a huge pick onto Bishop Kelly's tank. Jumpy does try to bring it up. Yeah. It still could be anyone's fight, but taking out the enemy tank is a very big win. And it's at least stalled out this team fight to take at least a minute off of Bishop Kelly's initial time.
This is a good initial hold if you're Bora. At least it was. It was until Coop and Jumpy decided to take care of business, but that was a solid start for Bora. BK though, finding a couple. I mean, they're just finding kills left, right, and center now.
And with a team wipe like that, it'll guarantee that they get control of the payload.
There's Echo ult pretty much online as well.
Yeah, Co-op just doing a bit of scouting for the team. Duplicate now online. Bora still a ways away. The closest they are is the Kitsune Rush, which Kamibear is getting fairly close to. But this duplicate could be used completely unnegated.
Once again, I mean, you see the high ground here from Bora. They're just trying to play around it. Stop his payload from moving forward. Just pick BK off of it. That's about the best play they've got. But there's Co-op just going vertical. I mean, and challenging the high ground again. It's hard if you're Bora. You got to hold that. You got to hold that strong.
Boba's getting focused down with some damage. Jumpy brings out the overclock, lands one right click onto Kamibear. And getting rid of a powerful healer like the Kiriko, or powerful support, I should say. The real healer is with the Ana. He's staying alive, but the rest of the team can't really say the same thing as to both DPSs and the tank are taken out. Now the two supports follow. It's a full team kill for Bishop Kelly as they make their way closer toward the checkpoint.
You know what I think will turn the momentum around here for Bora? Hammer kill from Tor. I think that's what they need.
Now, is this genuine advice, or is this like me saying don't pick King's Row advice?
Well, I mean, I do think it could, keep people hyped. So it might turn some momentum, but I'm not saying that that's what you should go for because I don't know how effective that would be.
Well, I know what Co-op's going for. They brought the duplicate out onto enemy Ana, it looks like, and you're going to see the Annihilation re-brought out onto Flare. Oh, that's a dangerous Ramatra, and he takes out Lucha Gordo, Twisted, Kamibear, and Echo Cow. Oh, that was ugly.
Yeah, that's rough. This is simply stagger territory here, I think, or getting close to it if you're Bora. You might get one more team fight out of this, but then I think we're going to start seeing some rush picks here to just try and stagger this off. Bora's got to defend with everything they got left now. That payload's getting close.
Team fight to decide it all as Jumpy gets to pick onto Lucha. Twisted also eliminated. Both DPSs down. The supports follow, and it's just the Ramatra trying to use the Annihilation, but one target at a time proves very fruitful for Bishop Kelly, and they get the full 3 points on their attack push.
Yeah, that was once again a great example of how to play against the high ground. Essentially, they got vertical, defended the high ground, and that was pretty impressive. So now, if you're Bora, I mean, you got to be almost perfect. Truly, you have to play, I think, pretty much perfect Overwatch at this point.
But you just take it one step at a time. And all it takes is one pick. We saw the successful first hold by Bora because they were able to take out the tanks so quickly. You just got to take it one elimination at a time. Get that target focus. That's going to be the main thing, is that they need to be cohesive on the heroes that they're trying to focus and burn down.
Just a side note, by the way, as we go through the aerial here, and you see the posters for Anubis. Does that make you reminisce over the good Overwatch 1 days?
Rip in peace is all I have to say to that.
Not a 2 control point fan on Anubis.
You know what? I don't really prefer one stage over the other too much, mainly because I just lost at all of them. So you know what I mean?
That's valid.
Whatever stage I like is the one I'm winning on.
Fair enough.
Capture the flag. Let's. There you go.
Yep.
That's your answer.
I can get behind it. It's a good answer. The right answer, some might say.
All right, here we go.
This first fight now, even more so than usual, is just absolutely critical. Bora's got to find this first fight. The first pick, even, is going to be it's going to define how this game goes.
Bora's gone for an all-aerial strategy with the Far Mercy and also the Echo as well. But that means this Ryan is going to be on the ground all alone by himself. These DPSs have to get eliminations quickly.
I like it, though. I mean, I think sometimes you have to do something a little bit different, but that's tough. The Echo on Echo trade is not the way you want to start.
Off we go. Oh, copy. Co-op trying to push the focusing beam down, and that's a great charge onto Jumpy. Pixel eliminated as well. Bora might have gained a foothold, but Lucha Gordo eliminated by Co-op. And what looked promising is going to have to turn into yet another reset.
This is better, though, for Bora. They're starting to win some fights. This is more like what they want to see. And there's the Ryan getting in behind as well. That's That's solid from them. He's trying to make some progress, and they've already put themselves in a bad spot, though. BK's got the first third of this done.
One elimination apiece for both of Bora's DPSs and 1 tick secured up near the payload. Gonna see the copy now brought out by Bishop Kelly onto Co-op. And he charges up the barrage in no time whatsoever. Immediately spends it to get rid of Bora's tank. And that stops the push, but 1 tick managed to be secured by Bora.
Looking at the ult economy again. It's a little bit closer, though. Bora's got that Kitsune rush up and ready to go now. So, I mean, if you're BK, you got to be knowing that the economy is pretty well even maybe a little bit in Bora's favor here. So they've got a chance if they want to use some of this. There's barrage up as well. They've got a chance to do something here.
Trying to dodge each other's long-range shots, dodging those flame strikes, not giving that old charge over. Cammy Bear now online with the Valkyrie. And Bora with that all-important barrage, just waiting for the next play.
They've almost got Ryan online as well here too, but that's tough. Oh, that's not what you want to see, a support going down early in the fight. It's going to make it hard. A big revive, but I don't think it's going to matter. BK's already more or less got this fight won.
Boba is eliminated as a final bitter end to that team fight. Now we just got 1 minute left, but a huge amount of ultimates has been saved up. Things are about to get very chaotic as we're getting to final fight territory. All those ultimates are likely to be used at once. What a stagger onto Twisted by Jumpy.
Yeah, that's tough. This is going to be essentially wait and then one last push. Everybody besides the soldiers online at this point. It's going to be a lot of ults coming through. I'm just going to let you take this one away, Jacob.
Oh, thanks. All right, here we go. We got the Kitsune Rush and the barrage used by Bora. First hand, and the Annihilation is going to come out in response by Bishop Kelly, but the backline has already been taken down. The Knights are lacking for healing, and Bora has made their way on to the point. They use all their ultimates at once, and it is going to secure them the payload to keep the fight going. So I would say that's an investment well spent. Although Bishop Kelly, talking about investments, only uses 1 or 2 ultimates in that fight, so they still have 3 left to fight for a rainy day.
A lot just happened in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, a lot did happen.
That was crazy. That was about the biggest investment you'll see. But you still got Tracer just about, or excuse me, Soldier just about online now, and they're already building their way back up. But like you said, BK still has so much online.
They're just staying as close to the payload as they can without really exposing themselves, just so they continue making forward progress.
Keeping one on it, just trying to keep this thing pushing forward. 2 minutes to go. If you're Bora, they've got a checkpoint. They're about halfway there. Ults are coming out, though. The economy's almost balanced itself out again.
Co-op, though, on this duplicate isn't being challenged too much and gets the barrage charged up. Just solo ults it right onto Lucha. But that still leads to another team fight 1. Bishop Kelly putting a stop to this payload.
This is tough. You almost don't have anything to play off right now if you're Bora. You just almost have to play for a pick and just try and find anything to get that soldier in a position to utilize that tactical visor.
Throwing out the disruption shot, just putting a bunch of area of effect damage out. Bora, oh my goodness, that far! Oh, just manages to get away. The Mercy, excuse me. Pixels just managing to survive. Uses the Mercy jump to get on out of there. Meanwhile, Bora going on in. Jumpy ends themselves boosted and pushing out a lot of damage, as does Gizmo, bringing out that orbital ray, and that'll do it.
Almost got Barrage online here, though, for the side of Bora. They've got 4 ults up, so they don't need to do everything right now. They can just wait for a second, regroup. They're going to have the advantage in this next team fight if they just play patient.
And just about everything's being used by Bora, and now they've got the Barrage, Kitsune Rush, and Tactical Visor, but Bishop Kelly just runs the other way, and that's an effective strategy. Just run out of the range of all those ultimates, and they completely survive. No eliminations to show for 3 ultimates just used, and now they hit on back twice as hard against Bora, bringing out the annihilation from Flare. Twisted Hurtin on Hell. Cambier, though, has the Valkyrie. It's going to be a little easier to keep their teammates alive, but not enough to escape the rage of Co-op, who takes out Boba. And without the tank, I think that's the final team fight, and most likely Numbani decided in the Bishop Kelly Knights' favor. We only have a few seconds left for a possible comeback.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough time to get a touch off at this point. They're going to keep trying to find kills, but I don't think there's any time. I don't know if they can get to the payload.
Oh, that is rude right there. Saving the barrage for that final moment in overtime.
But, that's smart, realistically.
It is.
You know the stagger is going to be coming in, and you know that one big play can finish the map off. Or we're starting to get it figured out a little bit there. They're getting some momentum. That was a good play to save from Co-op. That was impressive. But I think that was a better map for Bora. They looked a lot better than they did on Control.
Well, we'll see what happens as we go on to Flashpoint. Being unique in the fact that there's only two options now for Bora to choose from, New Junk City or Servasta.
You know, I have to imagine, and I'm hoping, I am a fan of Servasta. That's what I'd like to see happen. But I do know that there's a lot of folks, I think, that enjoy seeing that New Junk City pick as well. So it'll be interesting to see which way they go. I think that'll really determine comp as well.
Servasta definitely seems to be the slightly more popular of the two. You know, maybe 75-25, I would suppose. You know, it's pretty likely that it's going to be Servasta, but New Junk City does show up enough that, unlike Kings Row, I don't make it a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I think either way, it's fun to watch. I think that either of these maps provide a good challenge. Look at the energy.
At least they're having a good time. You know, that's the most important thing.
Well, I mean, of course they're having a good time. They're not in school right now on a Thursday. They're missing class to come and play Overwatch competitively.
That's a really good point.
They're the envy of their classmates.
Yeah.
What more could you want?
That is the dream right there. that truly is the dream. So, yeah, it kind of all the players on the stage have won in a way, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you get to go back and when your classmates say, you know, what were you doing today? Why were you in class? Say, I was playing competitive esports. That's awesome. And it is New Junk City as well.
All righty, here we go into New Junk City. Could be the final stage of this match. Bishop Kelly only needs one more to win it in another sweep. And the AOB can declare the IETA champions. Off we go. First to 3 flashpoints wins. And you have so many flashpoints to choose from, but Arena will always be the first.
You know, a point for New Junk City in their category, by the way. The music is fantastic. I have to give it that.
And the thing is, I also think it's really good for Bishop Kelly because they're a team, when they've won the first team fight or they gain a little bit of leverage, they usually take as much space as they possibly can for themselves. On that first point, if you're able to push them out so they can't get through those doorways, it's game over.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's a great thought. I mean, they are a first team fight kind of team, right? Again, it goes back to momentum. And when they can find it, it makes it so hard to beat them.
My goodness, a wrecking ball, Bora. All right, I see why they were smiling. They are just going to go with the wrecking ball and see how that works out for them. I always love seeing me some wrecking ball action. Right now, though, Bishop Kelly. Oh, my goodness, it might have worked. They used the reflect on the Genji to take out Pixel. Gizmo and Jumpy follow soon afterwards, and Bora have won the first team fight.
Wow. Just as we were talking about BK's speciality being that first team fight, a big double from the Genji, and then Hammond coming in big time to secure the first team fight for Bora. Okay, the Lions are here to play.
Right now, players trying to make their way through these doorways, clear some space out. Jumpy gets a pick onto Boba. Commanding Shout is used by Bishop Kelly, and Flare and Gizmo still staying on in there. They took a bit of damage, but they managed to live by another day. Jumpy and Co-op also get eliminations. Pixels joins in, taking out Cammy Bear, and Bishop Kelly has a good team fight to take it back.
Yeah, that was a all right, you got your one type moment there from BK. They said, we're going to lock in. So now if you're Bora, a retake again is going to be so tough now that BK has the positioning that they want. But they're 50% there. It's one fight. That's all they need. And a minefield could do it for him if they get him up to his ult.
Jumping on in with the Rampage, but it only hits Echo Cow. Flair does get the pick onto Twisted, and Boba follows soon afterwards. The knife heads into Cammy Bear, and that's going to be a team fight win for Bishop Kelly. One more, and they've got this first flashpoint.
The big triple there coming in from Junker Queen. That's tough. That's a pretty good play. It's tough to come back from that. Now it's getting pretty close to the last fight here on this first point.
Right up toward the open sign, a nice reflect. Now heading on in, slams down Cammy Bear, has the minefield, drops it, but Koa with the pulse bomb gets Luchador and Twisted. The minefield does still manage to pick up Flair and Co-op, but Bishop Kelly is still trading back and forth, and it's not quick enough. Bishop Kelly claims the flashpoint before Bora can touch it, and that'll be 1 point to the Knights.
You know, the trading there was fantastic. I thought the minefield was the play, but like you said, that Tracer Pulse was just huge out of the side of Bishop Kelly. That was about as good as you can get it. Playing around, that's tough, but when you find a good one, man, it's electric.
Off we go toward the second flashpoint. They're trying to swing on through with this wrecking ball in this narrow hallway. And the sound barrier used by Bora to start off the fight. Bishop Kelly uses theirs in response. We're going to see the Rampage, actually Echo Cow taken out. The Riptire does take out Flair, but Flair gets more than enough to make up for it with the Rampage and the knife. His teammates just do a little bit of cleanup work, and Bishop Kelly have the point.
Yeah, that was a pretty good take there. The tire came in, but it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter. That was a clean fight for BK, and now they're going to get themselves probably up to about 50% here, if not close.
Now we just wait for Bora to move on through, try to get back in the building. Taking their time with it a bit. It's already 50% for BK. Now moving on in, throwing the knife out, just going right for the Ana. They have their target focused and they collect on it. Flair wasn't going to stop for anything until that support was taken out, and good successful play because now there isn't anyone really alive to keep Cammy Bear fighting on the point. They'll get a good, huge stagger out of this one too. Enough for them to probably win the second flashpoint as well.
Flair is fearless, just running it down and not afraid to just keep firing and taking care of business. Yeah, Flair is looking the enemy in the eye. That's impressive.
All right, we got just one more flashpoint to go, and then Bishop Kelly can head on home with the W in their column. So we head on to my favorite. I mean, you always love to end things out in the Sludge Factory, the perfect stage for a win. So let's see what Bishop Kelly can do here as they use Commanding Shout to start off the fight. Bora trying to fight on back with a bit of healing of their own. Twisted very low on health, and they're going to get a bit of a health boost too, but it's not enough as Flair lands the hit into Twisted. Jumpy is traded back. But, I mean, that Ana can push out so much healing and makes these other targets like Lucha Gordo so much easier for Flair. Now we have Cammy Bear sitting with the minefield. Hasn't used it quite yet. Oh, and it gets trapped. Oh, Flair takes out Echo Cow, manages to survive through that Junkrat trap by Bora. Still, though, Cammy Bear still sitting on this minefield, still doesn't use it, and the point goes away to Bishop Kelly.
Good patience there to not pull that. Now you've got Brig online as well, and you've almost got Tire as well. So Bora just saving their ults here, but I mean on the other side, I mean you have that High Noon ready to go, and you have Beat. So this is going to be a tough break here if you're Bora. They're going to have to make everything happen kind of all at once here.
The Rampage just going right onto Lucha Gordo, just solo ults him. Jumpy then uses the Magnetic Grenade to get rid of Echo Cow. Boba to follow. It's another team fight one. I mean, they do get trapped in the... Okay, that's not going to do anything. I mean, right now. And again, we have the minefield. It's brought out now by Cammy Bear, but since Cammy's still alive, he's left open. A stagger just as his team comes in. Oh, he just gets away.
That was almost GG there.
Yep.
I think that would have pretty well done it. Bora is in last fight territory here for the game, but they still, I mean, they're still theoretically can get there, get a touch, and get a contest.
They're using all their ultimates, but not a one shows up. Well, okay, the Riptire does manage to take out Pixels, but Bishop Kelly still the clear winner in the trades. Now just Candy Bear trying to get this. Oh, it's the tragic. Falls down right in the middle of the hole. The wrecking ball, too, just like a white golf ball, a hole in one, and we are done. Bishop Kelly wins it 3-0 for the final match.
Clean sweep in all 3 maps. That was pretty impressive. I mean, they took care of business on the flashpoint. They only ever looked like maybe even giving up more than a single point on the hybrid, and that was it. They looked good today.
And one final play of the game, nod to Flair, as Bishop Kelly now gets to stand on up as the winners of the IETA Overwatch tournament. And they'll shake hands with Boris, say GG's for everybody. And a very nice way to spend the day, as you were alluding to earlier.
Yeah, you know, what's better than coming down to the Boise Center here in downtown Boise and playing some Overwatch in front of a nice crowd? You know, that's about the way to do it. On a Thursday afternoon,
Yep.
You can't get much better than that.
Get a little taste of that esports arena adrenaline there, and Bishop Kelly, definitely the ones, they had a lot of fun, but you can tell Bora also having a lot of fun. The 2 teams that brought jerseys were also the ones that made it the farthest, because, I mean, you look good, you play good.
That's you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And both of these teams have great jerseys.
They
by
do.
the way.
They're really
2
good.
Different styles, you know, BK with the collar, Bora with a little bit more of the traditional sports jersey, but I mean, they both are good-looking jerseys.
Yep.
I have to get some for my office.
Well, you go do that, because we are done with the broadcast, and we want to thank everyone out there at IETA, both attendees and staff, for helping to make this possible and give all of these high school students a great time here competing over the 2 days in Smash, Rocket League, and Overwatch. But that is going to do it for our esports tournament. We hope you have a great remainder of your day here at IETA and in the weekend going forward. But for now, this is Jacob and Riley signing off. We'll see you next time.